Okay guys, welcome to the second part of the tutorial. In our first tutorial we did HTML and CSS of this project. So here is the HTML, the markup for the project, and here is the project. So the time goes here, so this is where we stopped, and so we're continuing from here. In case you came across this video and you've not watched the first part of it, please check my channel. You're going to see how we arrive at this point. Okay, so thank you very much. So our goal today, before I mentioned that this is the CSS markup for this project. So you can see the CSS markup. Like I said, if you did not know how we arrive here, go back to the first video, the part 1 of this video, and you're going to get how we came about all of this stuff. Okay, so today we're going to be concentrating on the JavaScript. As you can see in the JavaScript section, we've not done anything in the JavaScript. So in the JavaScript section now, we're going to start in with the time, this time. All right, we're going to be starting with this time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write a function. That will give us this time. Okay, so we're going to write a function saying function name to be start time, and then we're going to say var today equal to the new date, and then to the new date. Save the changes. Now you're not going to see anything at all. So the next thing we're going to do is to get the hour, and we can say var hour equal to today dot get hours, and then var the minutes. So we can say var minutes equal to today dot get minutes. All right, and then we go to the seconds. So we can say var seconds equal to today dot get seconds. All right. Okay, so right now you're not going to see anything because we've not output anything at all. We've not output anything, but if you want to see, I'm going to show you a little of it. If you want to see something right there, so we can just say, by testing it out, we can say document that get element by ID. Now remember, this is where we want to display the time. We want to display the time right here, so the ID here is time. Okay, so we document the get ID, get element by ID. So we're gonna put the ID here to be time dot inner HTML, let's say equal to hour, something like this. So if we save the changes, equal to hour. Okay, that's inner HTML. So sorry, document that gets element by something is wrong somewhere, trying to trace it out, and then that's gonna be it. So now that inner HTML is gonna be equal to the hour, all right. Okay, so you're probably not gonna see anything now, and let me come over to this point and then point things out and think something is wrong. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, our document got. Okay, yeah, the reason is because this function is not called anyway. So if I decide to call the function now, I can say start time. I'll call the function right here and save it, so you can see now the time is 15. Okay, all right. Sorry. So that's one of the things that happens when you write a function and you have not called the function, so you're expecting this function to do something, and it messes you up. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm not going to call this function here. I'm going to call it to the body. So I will go to the body, to the HTML, look at the body tag, look at here, right here, and I will say unload. That when the page loads, I want to run the start time function. So I just wanted to run it right here. So I will save the changes, so you can see it's the same thing. All right. Okay, so then after that, what I'm going to do next is I am going to I'm going to appute the time now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use HTML, what do they call it? So I'm going to say, I'm going to say appute the hour, then you concatenate, add the colon, and then concatenate, appute the minutes, and also you concatenate and add another colon, and then concatenate, and then you add the seconds for me. And sorry, this was just the seconds, and add the seconds. So if I save the changes, so you're going to see the hour, the minute, and the seconds. So at this point, so what we just have is to get this element, and then the inner HTML will just writing all of this to the inner HTML. Okay, so that's what happens now. But now looking at the time, nothing happens unless if I refresh the page. Usually when I refresh the page that the clock keep ticking. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is right here just below, I'm going to write a function. I'm going to write a function right here. Before then, so what I will do now, in order to update the time, I want the time to update. So in order to update the time for the seconds to keep reading or to keep counting, so I will just use the set timeout, and then I'll pass the start time function, and then add the number of milliseconds I want it to stay. So you can see, look at this, is counting now, 450. Okay, so that isn't that. So the next thing I'm going to do now, if you look at this, we have AM and PM. We have right here AM and PM. So that would, and also when the minute is less than 10, is less than or equal to 9, it adds 0 in front of this. But right here we just have it's not adding any 0 to it, and there's no AM PM right here. Okay, so what we're going to do next now is what we're going to do now is I'm going to now look at this. We have 15. Now this is not supposed to be 15. This should be around 3. So I'm going to write something. So I'm going to say time format. So I really want to change the format. So in this format, I'm going to say if the hour is less than or equal to 12. So what do I want to happen if the hour is less than or equal to 12? So I want the format to be 12-hour format. I don't want it to be 24 hours. Now what is written here is 24 hours, so I want it to be 12 hours. So if the hour is less than or equal to 12, I want the hour to be equal to hour. Else, if it's not that, else I'm just gonna say the hour should be hour equal to hour minus 12. So what happened here is, if this hour is equal to 12, then the time here will be 12. But then if the hour is equal to 13, 13 is equal to 1. So if it is equal to 13, to remove 12 from 13 will be 1. So 1 will be here. So that's what this does. All right. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is to write a function that adds 0. Now look at this 3 has 0 in front of it, but right here it doesn't have 0. So I want it to be 2-digit. So I will come below here. Now I will jump out of the function. I look at where the function ends. So I am simply going to jump out of the function. I will jump out of the function, and then I will write function. So let me call it concat 0 because I'm going to add 0 into it. So concat 0, and then I'm going to pass a value to it. So what I will say is, if the value right here is less than 10, that is, if the value is from 0 to 9, is less than 10, so I want something to happen. So if this value here is less than 10, that is, if it is 1 to, if it is 0 to 9, I want it to add 0 in front of this place. Or this can also be written as less than or equal to 9. sorry, you can write in this form, less than or equal to 9, so you can add like 9. So they're pretty gonna do the same thing. All right. Okay, so let me just use less than 10. Okay, so if it's less than 10, what I want to do is I'll pick that value. I will say that this value is equal to, I'm going to concatenate a string 0, a string plus the value. So what it will simply do is it will take this 0 as a string and then add it in front. It will just string concatenation. All right. Okay, so once that is done, I want the function to return the value for me. All right, so I've created this function. So what I'm going to do now is I will come right here. I will just say add 0 if less than 10. All right, so I will call this function concat 0. So I'm going to call concat 0. So I want to add 0 in front of the hour, so I'm going to call the hour right here. Okay, so we'll save the changes. Let me see. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna assign the hour instead. So the value I'm gonna pick up here, so I will assign it to this function. So I will say the hour is equal to concat 0, add 0 to the hour. So you can see right now this 3 has 0. So I will also do the same for the minutes. So I will say let the minutes be equal to concat 0. So if the minutes is the minute value is less than 10, add 0 to it. Add 0, concat 0 in front of it. So I'm going to do the same for the seconds. So I'm going to say seconds is equal to concat 0. So I'm going to add seconds, past seconds as a variable. All right. Okay, so we can save the changes and then so you just wait for the seconds to load now. 59. So you can see 0 0 and you see there's a 0 in front of it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to add this. If you look at the project here, we have AM, PM here. So if this is less than 12, it should add PM. If it's less than 12, it should be AM. If it's greater than 12, is equal to 12 or greater than 12, it should be PM. So to do that, what we're going to do right now is we're going to come under here and I will write a comment that says AM PM. All right, so create a variable called mode and mode, and then I will say if the hour, because this one has to do with the hour, so if the hour is less than or equal to 11. So what happens if this hour is equal to 11? If this hour is 0, it's 1 2 3 to 11. So what I want to happen is I will say the mode, I will assign a value AM to the mode, and I will say else in any other case assigned PM to this. All right, so I think this is our project right here. So if I save the changes, you're not going to see anything. Now the reason is because I have not added it to this. So I will simply come over here, this seconds, and I will say concatenate. I will just add a plus sign and add a plus sign and give a space here, and then add another plus sign, and I will say mode. So I will save the changes so you can see. Yeah, AM PM. No, something is wrong. Something is wrong. Okay, no, that is not correct. It's not correct. I will say if AM, if hour is less than or equal to 11, mode is equal to AM, else mode is equal to PM, and this is 3 PM, so this is not right. So I'm going to change this. So I'm going to say PM here, and I'm going to say AM right here. Okay, save the changes so we have PM. Okay, so if the hour is less than or equal to 11, so it's going to give us PM. And all right, Okay, so here we have PM. Now look at my time here. That's my time home is 3:32 p.m. Okay, so that is probably what we're gonna have. Okay, so I think at this point we're done with the we're done with the, what do they call it? We're done with the timing. So the next thing we're going to do is, to start installing the writing codes for other. That's okay. So at this point we are done with the time. So the next thing we're going to start writing now. The next thing we're going to do is to get the screen. All right. So I'm going to declare a variable here. Let me say screen. So I'm going to declare a variable, and I will say send a value to the screen. So I'm going to say screen is equal to document.get element by ID. So I'm going to say screen, right? Okay, so that's going to be for now. Okay, so I haven't done that. So what I'm going to right now, I'm going to create a function that enables us to type. Like when you press a button, it shows up here. When you press 6, it shows up here. When you press 1, it shows up here. All right, so I'm going to create a button, and I'm going to call that button press. So I'm going to say, let me write a comment here and say type to the screen. All right. Okay, so I'm going to name the function press, something like this, and I'm going to pass a value to say num value, so that's the value of the number that we're passing in. All right, so here I'm simply going to, what I'm going to do now is okay, I will say screen, because this screen now this screen refers to this screen right here. Okay, to this screen. Okay, so now if you look at, if we go back to, so look at the screen right here. So this is what we're targeting, this input, this screen. All right, okay, so we now say screen screen that value is equal to, so we're going to say plus or equal to num value. Okay, so we save the changes. Now what this plus or minus means is the same thing as when we say screen that value is equal to screen that value plus num value plus num value. So these two things are the same. All right, these two, they are the same. These two are the same. So but this is just the shorthand. All right, so I'll be getting rid of this. Okay, so to text out the function, what we're going to do is, like I said, this video is for beginners. So I'm going to come over here, and remember this is just for the numbers. So I'll come over here, that is number 7. So I'm going to say on click. So when we click this button, we want the press, want to call the press function, and we are passing the value of 7 into it. So when we save the changes and click on 7, so you see it. Now when we click on the 7 again, so you can see it's working. But when we click on other ones, nothing happens, and it remains like that. Okay, so that's the function of this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add this press to all of them, to all the numbers, just for the numbers. So we can say on click. So we want to pass in the press function, and then here the value here is 8. So the value we're going to pass in here is going to be 8. So the value here is 9, and so the value we're going to pass here is 9. So we can save the changes. So we can type 8, 9. All right. So when we click on this, nothing happens because we've not assigned this to any of these. Okay, so we come over here, and then we still select all of these for the numbers, and then we say on click. When we click on this button, we want to call the press function, and then when we call the press function, we want to pass the values. So here we have value of 4, here 4, we want it to be 4, here 5, and here 6. All right, so we save the changes. So also we go to 1 2 3, so we come over here, here and here. So what we're gonna do is now we say on click. So when you click on the button, we want to call the press function. All right, we want to call the press function, and then when we call the press function, we want to pass the values here. So we have values of 1 2 and 3. So we save the changes. Okay, so right now we can, we can add 1 2 3. We can add all of that, all the numbers. You can see it's working pretty fine. All right, so but then, okay, yeah, so you can see it's working pretty fine. All right, it's working pretty well. And okay, so but then 0 is not doing anything, and we've not added to 0. So we can say on click, we say press, call the press function. Sorry, so we're calling the press function, and we're passing in 0. All right, so we can save the changes here. You can write. Now the problem now is, now look at this, 0 should not be in front of this, so there's a problem with the function. So when you look at this, you see 0, so 0 should not come after any another word. All right, so what we're simply going to do is we go back to this. So when we go back to this, well, we're gonna add a if statement here. So we say if the screen value, that is if the value in the screen is equal to 0, something like this. So if it's equal to 0, we want something to happen. So we want the screen value to be equal to empty. All right, so we save the changes. So what happened is when we press 0, you can see it doesn't work again. So it's 0 only appears when there's no number before this. All right, so you can see something like this now. So it's working perfectly fine, just like a calculator. So if you refresh this and try to type in 0 before any number, it doesn't work. So if you try to type in a 0 before any number, it will not work. But if we type a number before the 0, it works perfectly fine. All right, okay, so we've been able to get all these numbers, and they are, but the plus and the minus and the rest of that, they're not functioning yet. Okay, so what we're going to do next now, what we're going to do now is we're going to write a function to clear the screen. Okay, so we're going to write a function that will clear up the screen for us, like this clear screen. This is the function we're going to write now. So we'll make a comment here and say clear screen. All right, so I'm going to write a function and I'll call it clear screen. All right, so clear screen, and I'll pass a parameter here, and then what I'm going to say is const space equal to screen. All right, so I'm signing a particular sorry, that's not what I'm supposed to do. So for the clear screen, what I simply want to do is whenever I click, just like here, when you type in something and then you click on this, it empties the space. So what we're simply going to do is we're going to set the screen value to be empty whenever this button is being clicked. Okay, so what we're simply going to do is we will target the screen and screen value equal to val. All right, equal to val. So the screen value it will be whatever argument is going to be passed into this function. So, and then this function will only be assigned to the clear, to this key. So let's go to our HTML and locate the C. Okay, here it is. So we'll pass or click. So when this button is clicked, we want to call the clear screen, and then we're going to pass in this empty. All right, we're going to pass in empty. So when we type something, you can see it clears it off. All right, okay, so that isn't that. We go back to our JS. So the next thing we're going to do now is the delete key. This key, when we click on it, it deletes, and what we're simply going to use is the substring. All right, the substring. So what we're going to do now is write a comment right here and say delete key. Sorry, delete key. So I will write a function and I will name it backspace. I want to name it backspace, and I will write a const and say space equal to screen. So I'm assigning the screen value to the space const. All right, so I will now say the screen value, screen.value is equal to the space space dot value, and now I'm gonna call in a function. I'm gonna call in a function and dot substring. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in a substring here. So what I'm going to what I'm about writing is, I want whenever this key, the delete key, is being pressed, I want it to take whatever that is in the screen and remove one from it, starting from 0. All right, starting from 0. Remember that this was text aligned to the right. So what I'm going to do now is substring, and then I'll pass in 0 because I want it to start from 0 position, and then space dot value dot length. That's going to be the length, the length. So it's going to take the whole length, the length of the typed in, and then remove. It's going to remove 1 from it. So just remove 1 minus 1 from it. All right. So we save the changes, and okay, I think that's gonna be all for the clear screen. So backspace. So what we're gonna do is we locate the delete and then add this function to it. So we go back to this, and we're going to locate the backspace, the delete. Where's the delete? Okay, yeah, this is the delete. So we go to the delete and say on click. So on click, we want to backspace. So on click, we want to backspace it. All right. So we save the changes, and we try to type in something and try to delete. So you say it moves one letter at a time, one number at a time. Okay, so that's that on the delete key. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to write a function so that when we press this plus this equal to, so that it could give us something of equal or not equal, or something like that. Okay, so first of all, this multiplication, addition, and subtraction, they are not functioning. So we are simply going to pass in the press function to them, so that it could type in whatever we have here, could take it to the screen. So we go back to our this and locate the multiplication, and then also locate the division, and we locate the addition, and we locate the subtraction. So we're going to say on click, we're attaching a click function to them. We want it to call the press function, but then when it calls the press function, this is multiplication, so it should multiply whatever it is there, and now this is not a number, this is going to be treated as a string for here. So we're going to put this, and for division, we're going to pass in division. Here we want division, and here we want to pass in addition, and here we want to pass in the subtraction. So when we save the changes, so you can see we have something like this. All right, so we have something like this. So when we save these changes, we can now type 4 plus 5 is equal to. Now we've not written a function. We've not written a function here to give us 9 here. So what we're going to do now is to write a function right here that's going to when we click on it, it goes equal to type this. I will do the letter heading. All right, guys. Sorry, that was a little distraction. Okay. So what we're going to do now is to write a function that will be attached to the equal sign. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we go back to the function, to our JavaScript, and then we're gonna type something like evaluate or calculate. Okay, calculate function. So we're gonna do something like calculate function, and okay, just give me a minute, I'll be back. Alright guys, sorry for that little distraction. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to write a function, and then this function we're going to call it we're gonna call it calculate. So this calculate function, we're gonna write this point. All right guys, sorry for that little break. So what we're going to do next now is we're going to use try and exception here. So we're going to say try okay, so we're going to use this clear screen function to we're going to use the clear screen function. So what we're going to do here is we just say clear screen, and we use the evaluate function. This is from JavaScript. So what the evaluate does is, it calculates whatever that is on the screen. All right. Okay, so when we put in evaluate screen, and we just pass in the screen value, all right. So what happens here is the evaluate screen just evaluates whatever that is in the screen. Now you may be asking the reason why we have to add the clear screen. Now we want the screen to be cleared, whatever that is here, we want to clear it, and then once it is being cleared, we want to pass in only this value, the value that's gotten from this calculation. So what the evaluate function does is it will evaluate whatever that is here, whatever is on the screen, it will evaluate it. So for instance, when we type 4 plus 5, so when you click this, you want to evaluate 4 plus 5. So what JavaScript does is it picks this function, picks this value, check the operator, and then it will just add it. And then when it adds it, and this clear function will remove this, and then just like when I click plus, so it will remove the 4 plus 5 and then give you the result, which is 9. So this is what this does. All right. Okay, so that is what it does. So we're using try and error because we want to catch the error in case error occurs. Okay, maybe someone type in what is not supposed to be, what cannot be calculated arithmetically, so something like that. So we want to catch the error here. So we say catch the error, and when you catch the error, you're gonna pass a message using the clear screen also, and say let's say bad expression, bad expression, something like this. So we're gonna save it, and let's test it out. I'll say plus 6 equal to, oh, this is not working. The reason is because the calculate function has not been attached to this button. So remember, the name is calculate function, so we go back to and then look for the equal sign. This is the equal. So we attach this add this event listener. So we say we're adding a click event to it. So when the click event happens, we want to pass in the calculate function. So we save this, and we can now say 1 plus 5 equal to 6. So it gives us 6. So now the question is, what if we just click on plot equal to? It gives us undefined because there's no value here. It's just like a new value, so it gives us undefined. So to avoid this, we're going to add an if statement to the evaluate function. So what we're going to do right here now is we're going to add if statement. So we're going to say if there's nothing on the screen, if the screen value is not equal to empty. Now if the screen is not empty, we want this to happen. We're not trying to catch an error, so we just say we're gonna cut it and paste it right here. So place on V and save it. So if the screen is not empty, do this, but if the screen is empty, do nothing. That's what it means. All right. So if we remove after this if statement, there's nothing here. So we say if the screen is not empty, you're gonna run this, but if it is empty, just leave it like that. So we'll save and click on equal to, so you see nothing happens because the screen is empty, so it does nothing. Okay, so now we can add about 38 plus 7, which should give us 90 equal to, so we have 90. All right, so we can clear the screen now. We can also delete. All right, we can, we can delete the whole of this. All right, so we have gotten to this point. So what we're going to do now is the next thing we're going to do is we're going to write a function for all of these. And the video is already taking too much time, so I wouldn't want to continue with all these functions, with all of this. But I'm going to copy and paste, and then after copy and paste, I will explain the functions. Okay, so that's simply what I'm going to do now, because they're just so many. There's so many, and I don't want the video to take too much time. And yeah, so I'm gonna paste it right here, V. All right, I'm gonna paste from here. And okay, so let's check where we ended. Okay, we stop at the calculate function, so we can save this, and 7 and the sign of 7. Okay, so before that, so let me make this screen okay, let me make this screen a little bigger. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is let me give a little explanation of of how we come about this, and I think that's gonna be it. Okay, so the first function we're gonna write is function for the sign. You can look at this sign. So for the function for the sign, so we're gonna say sign. We'll create a function for it, and let me sign. So what we do is we want to pass this value. Whenever we click this function, we want to pass the value we got here to the screen. So that's what we are sending to the screen. So what we do, we're going to use the math object. So the math object dot sign. So this is for the sign. So we pass in whatever value we have to the screen, multiplied by math.pi over 180. Now we are changing this from what did I call it? From angle to degree. This is whatever value you're going to get is going to be in angle. So this math.pi divided by 180 is to change it to degree of an angle in degree. So we're going to get whatever we get the value to be in degree. Okay, so the same thing happens to the cosine. So for the cosine also, we are assigning whatever value we get here to the screen, to want to append it to the screen. So we have math.cos, the screen value, whatever we have here in the screen, we want to multiply it by this converts it to angle in degree. All right, okay, so we have for the town, which is for this function. We also have for the inverse of sine. This is the inverse of sine, which is a sine or whatever you call it. And then we also have for the inverse of cosine, cos, inverse of tan, and so we have that of the logarithm, the natural number. So you can see here as a natural number of a number and log 10. So we get a screen math.log, and then the screen value. So whatever we get from here, we want to append it to the screen. So for the log, the same thing in log 10 for the log. So this is probably for this. Yeah, this is for this, for the log. So math.log 10. So whatever the screen value is, we want to convert it to whatever the number here is, we want to convert it to log 10, and then we append it to the screen. That's what this means. So we come over here to the percentage. So for the percentage right here, what we want to do is pick up whatever that is in the screen, divide it by 10, and then return it to the screen. That's the meaning of this. So we get a value in the screen, just like 7 now. We want to divide 7 by 100, that will give us 0.7, and then we want to append the same value to the screen. Okay, so the next function we have is for the square. That's for the function over here. So for the square, what we want to do is we get the value on the screen here, math.power, get the value on the screen here, we multiply it by raised power 2. That's what we want to do here. Now mass.power takes 2 parameters. The first parameter is going to be it's going to be the number, and the second will be the power. So like 7 now, when I activate this function and click on this, what is going to happen is 7 raised to power 2, or 7 to the power of 2. So come to the cube, also math. So I want to raise to the power of 3, which will make it to be a cube. All right, so make it to be a cube. That's why I'm writing a cube function here. So the next one we have here is for this square root. So JavaScript has a function for square root, so that's why you have here square root. So I want to take whatever that's in the screen, change it to a square root, and then I put it back to the screen. So that's for the square root. Okay, so the next function now we're gonna have is this function, this here, the function for the plus and minus. Yeah, plus or minus. So you want to add plus or you add minus to it. So what we're simply going to do here is we want to get assign x to be to the screen. X is equal to the screen, so x will be equal to whatever we have in the screen. All right, so whatever gets to the screen, so that is x is going to be the screen. So we're going to assign x y to the be the value on the screen. So x refers to the screen, yeah, the div over here, and then y is equal to the value we have here. All right, the value we have here, and then we want to assign y to be equal to y multiplied by -1. Okay, so whatever value we have here, let me refresh this page. I want to show you something. So what this does is, now we have 8 here, so y, now this 8 is equal to y, this is y, 8 here is y. So when I click on this on this, what I want to happen is I want to multiply 8 by -1. So y here is 8, so 8 multiplied by -1, so when you click on it, it gives you -1. All right, and then we're going to say here that x, that value, is equal to y. All right, so here what happened, well, when I click it again, I want to get a value, the value we have on the screen to be equal to y, which is back to 8. All right, so when you click on this, and it comes up. Okay, so the last function we're going to have right here is the exponential function. So what the exponential function does is it takes 10 and raise it to the power of whatever number that you have here. All right, so just like when we click on exponential, this is what it gives to us. All right, okay, so that is going to be, so what we're going to do now is we take the exponential, we go over to our exponential here, and we're going to add it on click. We want to say exponential here, so that's going to solve for the exponential. So we look at plus or minus, so we have, we have it, we have here to be plus minus. So since we have here plus minus, we go over here and say for the plus minus, so we say on click, attach click event, and plus minus. So this is what we can save the changes, and then we come here, type to something is wrong, sorry, I didn't type it correctly, plus minus. So save the changes, you can type to something is wrong. Okay, sorry, I didn't attach it to the correct element. So let me paste this. This is for plus and x. This is for plus and minus. Sorry, I was attaching it to the wrong. So I'll save the changes and click something like 5. So you see plus or minus. Okay, so I will go back to my script and check the next function here is going to be for the square root. So I want to be attaching it to the square root over here. So I'll go over here and I'll go over right here to the square root. Where is the square root? Okay, this is the square root right here. So I'll attach a click on click function. I'm gonna say square root. So that's gonna serve for square root. So for us to test it out, we can say 5 into square root. So this is square root of 5. So we can clear the screen and say 25 square root of 25. That's gonna give us 5. All right. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is cube. So we're gonna add this on click. Let me just add them on click. I want this function, and then this on click. I want to add the square, and this is the %. So I want to say on click. I want to add the %, and this is the log. So I want to say on click. I want log. This is the line, so I want to say on click, So for the lane, let me check it out before I make a mistake. So for the, okay, this is it, this is the function here. So I'll go for the lane now. I'll say function, and also for this pi, yeah, this is what I forgot. So for the pi, I'm gonna use the press. I'm gonna say on click. Yeah, this is our pi right here. So when we click on pi, nothing happens because I've not attached any event listener to it. So I'm gonna attach event listener to pi. So I'm gonna say on click. I want to use press. For press, then I want to pass a value 22/7, but then I want to pass it 22/7. Yeah, I can save the changes. So when I click on pi, 22/7 shows on the screen. But then if I remove the parentheses, sorry, if I remove the what do you call it? I've forgotten the quotation, the single quotation mark, and I click on this, so it's just, it will evaluate it straight. But then I don't want it, so but you can do it anyhow you want. Thank you. All right, so the next one we're gonna have is the tan, and tan is gonna be inverse of tan. Yeah, so I'm gonna say on click. So inverse of tan, inf of tan, and here a cos. So there's gonna be inverse of cos. So I'm gonna say on click inverse of cosine. All right, and this is a sine, and I'm gonna say on click inverse of sine, and this is tan. So I'm gonna say on click gonna be tan, and this one also is gonna be, when you when we click it, we want the cosine, cosine function to 1, and then this one we want to say on click we want the sine function to 1, and we save the changes. Okay, so right now we've been able to attach all the event listeners to all of these. We're able to attach all the event listeners. So what we're gonna test this project out. So we're gonna start by 7. We press our sign. So this is the value. We can clear the screen. 7 days. We now clear the screen. Town this town. So we have it right here now. So I think all of them are there. They are all working. Here we have these. There's no value assigned to this. We have not assigned anything to this, to there. So this is gonna be the price. Now look at it right here. So when we click on it, we just want it to impute the dot. Okay, so when we have 4.3 plus 1.2, that's gonna give us 5.5. So we evaluate it, so we have 5.5. Right, so we can see that the time is working. So what we have right here is exactly what we have right here. So that is pretty. So what is left now is this. Yeah, this. Nothing happens. But for now, we can now check the percentage of this divided by. Okay, so we clear the screen. We can say we want to get a 10%. That's 0.1. But then this less than and what do they call it? This open and close brackets, we don't really have it here. So what we're going to do now is locate where we have opening and closing brackets. Okay, so this is right here. So what we're going to do is attach press this and into it, and then we're going to add this, and this is open parentheses. Right, so we're going to do the same thing here. And we're gonna say on click. Well, at the clicking event, we want to have this, and then so what we're gonna do here is gonna be for the close, and we save it. So now to test this out, what we're simply gonna do is we're gonna say something like 4 times 5. That's gonna be 20. 20 minus 1. 20 minus 1. That's gonna give us 19. All right. But if we say 4. I'll clear the screen. If we say 4 open bracket, let me get this, 4 times 4 multiplied by, what's multiplication, 4 multiplied by open bracket 5 minus 1. Close the bracket. Now what is going to happen is first of all, the bracket is going to be evaluated, so we're going to get something like 5 minus 1. That's going to give us 4. So 4 multiplied by 4, that will give us 16. So when we click on this, so we have 16. So you know, that's to show that this is really working. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember to subscribe to my channel. In case you have any question, please, you can just comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We'll be having more videos. You can even request for more videos, and don't forget to like the video. Thank you very much. I would want to hear you on the comment below. Thank you so much. So this is the final project. So this is the part 2, and that's the complete project. Like I said before, in case you've not watched the part 1, just go and watch the part 1 of this video. And thank you.